First of all, the physical memories, the sound, the smells, and the surfaces of things. It is curious that more vividly than anything that came afterwards in the Spanish War, I remember the week of so-called training that we received before being sent to the front, the huge cavalry barracks in Barcelona with its drafty stables and cobbled yards, the icy cold of the pump where one washed, the filthy meals made tolerable by pannikins of wine, the trousered militia women chopping firewood, and the roll call in the early mornings, where my prosaic English name made a sort of comic interlude among the resounding Spanish ones. Manuel González, Pedro Aguilar, Ramón Fenollosa, Roque Ballester, Jaume Domènech, Sebastián Viltrón, Ramón Nouveau Bosch. I name those particular men because I remember the faces of all of them, except for two who were mere riffraff and have doubtless become good phalangists by this time. It is probable that all of them are dead. Two of them I know to be dead. The eldest would have been about 25, the youngest 16. One of the essential experiences of war is never being able to escape from disgusting smells of human origin. Latrines are an overworked subject in war literature, and I would not mention them if it were not that the latrine in our barracks did its necessary bit towards puncturing my own illusions about the Spanish Civil War. The Latin type of latrine, at which you have to squat, is bad enough at its best, but these were made of some kind of polished stone so slippery that it was all you could do to keep on your feet. In addition, they were always blocked. Now, I have plenty of other disgusting things in my memory, but I believe it was these latrines that first brought home to me the thought, so often to recur, here we are, soldiers of a revolutionary army, defending democracy against fascism, fighting a war which is about something, and the detail of our lives is just as sordid and degrading as it could be in prison, let alone in a bourgeois army. Many other things reinforced this impression later. For instance, the boredom and animal hunger of trench life, the squalid intrigues over scraps of food, the mean, nagging quarrels which people exhausted by lack of sleep indulge in. The essential horror of army life. Whoever has been a soldier will know what I mean by the essential horror of army life, is barely affected by the nature of war you happen to be fighting in. Discipline, for instance, is ultimately the same in all armies. Orders have to be obeyed and enforced by punishment if necessary. The relationship of officer and man has to be the relationship of superior and inferior. The picture of war set forth in books like All Quiet on the Western Front is substantially true. Bullets hurt, corpses stink, men under fire are often so frightened that they wet their trousers. It is true that the social background from which an army springs will color its training, tactics, and general efficiency, and also that the consciousness of being in the right can bolster up morale, though this affects the civilian population more than the troops. People forget that a soldier anywhere near the front line is usually too hungry or frightened or cold or, above all, too tired to bother about the political origins of the war. But the laws of nature are not suspended for a red army any more than for a white one. A louse is a louse, and a bomb is a bomb, even though the cause you are fighting for happens to be just. Why is it worthwhile to point out anything so obvious? Because the bulk of the British and American intelligentsia were manifestly unaware of it then, and are now.